Hey, I'm Ron Keel, the Metal Cowboy, and you got it, the right to rock, because we go to 11.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Well, let's just do what we can. How's that? Is that cool with you?
Absolutely, man.
So you got the record, and you know I've had enough chats with you over the years for Sleaze Rocks, KNAC, and even at the Headbangers Con over here in Portland, Oregon, a few years back. That I've picked your brain about all. I've picked your brain about all things Keel, Steeler, Iron Horse, all the various different bands that you've been a part of, which kind of ties in this go round because, the last time I spoke with you, you had done Keel Fest, which, I think you were basically hinting at doing Keelworld, which is this record coming out this Friday, the 2nd of August already. And I already have my copy. I pre-ordered it and I've been playing that like crazy. So I'm really enjoying the thing. But I did have 4 songs in particular that really got me. This is like top shelf Ron Keel stuff. So
Right
tell us a little bit about kind of how this record came to be. I mean, I know you did Keel Fest and that inspired this. I think at the last time I spoke with you, I think you wanted to do a gig in Vegas, that would kind of encapsulate all things Keelworld.
Well, we did 2 Keel Fest events, one in 2019 in Columbus, Ohio, and then in last year in Nashville. And of course, always writing, recording, creating songs. And it was going to be a Ron Keel Band album until I went and had dinner with some friends. And the guy across the table from me sits down and shakes my hand. Hey, Ron, what's going on in Keelworld? Boom, Keelworld. That's home. That's where I live. It's where Keel Fest, those ideas originated. So it really was just that moment when I realized that could be the name of the new album. And, I could invite Keel and Steeler, and maybe I could invite Ronnie Lee Keel. I think he'd show up.
Right.
So it was at that moment that I thought, what a great concept. Put Keel Fest on an album. Of course, it wouldn't be possible without all of those musicians, bands, friends, and partners that contributed to Keelworld. The guys in Keel, Mark Ferrari, Brian J., Dwayne Miller, the guys in Steeler, Rick Box, and Mitch Perry on lead guitar, the guys in Iron Horse, the guys in the Ron Keel Band doing all the heavy lifting for me and going with my vision and my idea to try and to do something challenging, something that hasn't really been done before, to my knowledge, and something that to me would be a real statement of my accomplishments, my history, my life, and the music that I love all on one record.
I was going to ask you because it seems to me like the tunes that really hit me, that really grab my attention are kind of almost within that kind of, I know you've perfected your craft as far as a storyteller, and these all slot in there for me. I'm not to say that the other tunes don't do that, but these.
No, I'm excited to hear these 4 songs you're talking about, man.
Let me throw these out at you.
So, which one struck you like that?
Hard on the Outside. That's one. Faster Horses. Oh my God, I'm loving that one. And Take Me Back, again, perfect storytelling. And then The Last Bottle on Earth. All of them, just stellar, I think. To me.
Those are all really special songs to me. And, I was wondering which ones would resonate with my friends, my supporters, my audience. And I know you, Ruben, I see your name come through on the order list. You not only have had my back and supported me through the years, but I see your name come through on the pre-order list. And we got to get this guy's CD first, give him a chance to listen to it. And I can't wait to talk to him about it.
Right.
Faster Horses. That song is going to really resonate with people that may not even like country music, because they'll hear it and understand maybe the story behind it, or whatever struck you about it. Just a really strong song. Just those stories that country music is built upon. And the other ones you mentioned, Last Bottle on Earth, obviously an acoustic ballad, which closes the record out, that a lot of people they've called it country for all the wrong reasons, because I'm wearing a cowboy hat in the video. That makes it country, right? Well, I don't know that that's the qualifications for a country song, because
Right.
that song, to me, it's a rock ballad along the lines of Just to Be the One to Be With You from Mr. Big, or Extremes, More Than Words, or Judas Priest, Before the Dawn. It's just an acoustic ballad. It's still it's a special song. Taking Me Back. It's the first time, and we just started doing this interview media cycle, so I'm getting feedback from people like you. So it's really cool to hear that one struck a chord in you. And in addition to the story behind it, the musical approach, that classic hard rock, but it's commercial hard rock. I mean, in my opinion, I guess that's the best way you could characterize it. But the story has to make you feel something or think something. I think that song takes us all back to where we want to be. And Hard on the Outside, which you also mentioned, very special song for me. I feel like you've got to have a couple of songs that are all about sex, girls, rock and roll, and all that. You've got to have some songs that tell some of those stories, like Taking Me Back, or 5 O'Clock Shadows on the new album. But you gotta say something, not just sing something. And Hard on the Outside, that lyrical message combined with that incredible performance by the Ron Keel Band, really brings it all together on the second track, Hard on the Outside. So I'm really surprised and grateful that those 4 songs meant something to you.
Yeah. And again, I think for myself, I think like Last Bottle on Earth, again, it just ends, right? And you're like, oh man, I wanted more of that. But it ended at the right moment. Like, it was perfect right there where you ended.
Thank you. We call that an unresolved ending. It's
there
just
you go.
It kind of leaves you hanging. It's unresolved because I don't think we're finished telling the story yet. But it just felt like the right way to do it. I don't put a whole lot of thought into those type of things. I just kind of go where my heart tells me to go.
Kind of reminds me of you Sopranos fan, the Sopranos ending. It just goes black, right? And it ends. So perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Ruben.
And what is the deal with that little stop right at the beginning of Faster Horses? Because again, that adds something to it, where you guys count off, it stops, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then the song kicks in.
Yeah, well, you have that on every song.
Yeah.
Before every song on a recording, you've got the guys talking, and you got the drummer clicking his sticks, and you go, okay, well, I'm ready. You ready? Yeah, let's do it. 1, 2. I thought, just leave that. Because it was a first take. The drummer had never even played the song before. I mean, it was like, okay, here we go. And I sent the mixes or the tracks to my co-producer, Mike Dresch, who produced, mixed, and mastered the record with me. And I said, make sure you leave that part in there. And he goes, what? You really? Yes, just leave that. It kind of makes you feel like you're in the studio with the band during the session, and you're just kind of witnessing history in the making. So I enjoy that. It's interesting that you remarked on that as well, man. Good catch.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely added something to the tune. You know what I mean? Like it added that feel that you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's real. That's what it's like in the studio right before you lay down the take, man. So that's another part of Keelworld.
Yeah. And I've asked you in the past about the time in Sabbath, which you included Sabbath. Why particularly that tune? Why Children of the Grave in particular?
Well, we had done the Emerald Sabbath project, as you know, and I cut 3 tracks on that album a few years ago. Die Young, the
Mhm.
Ronnie James Dio classic from Heaven and Hell, and Trashed from the Ian
Oh,
Gillan
yeah.
era on Born
Right.
Again, and Hole in the Sky, the Ozzy track. So I got to
Mhm.
cover all three vocalists on that epic Emerald Sabbath
Right.
release, which came out a few years back. And the executive producer, Mike Sullivan, Mad Mike, we call him, he is the ultimate Black Sabbath fan. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to do volume 2. Would you sing Children of the Grave?" And I said, "Sure, of course, I'd love to." He had paid me really well for that first session. Um, and I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll do this one for free if you let me put it on my album." So that was his choice. He had offered me that the Children of the Grave song, and anytime you can cover Ozzy, uh, that's uh,
Yeah.
that's quite a challenge. And you might think that the Dio stuff and the Ian Gillan stuff is they're all difficult. None of it's a walk in the park, but covering the Ozzy tracks is always a challenge for me.
Mm.
And I just heard from Bev Bevan, who played drums on the Born Again album,
Mhm.
former ELO drummer and former
Yeah.
Black Sabbath drummer. He reached out this morning via email and heard
Ah.
the track and said, "Man, this sounds fabulous. I'm sending it to Tony." I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh,
nice.
wait."
Oh, nice.
So,
That'd be
because I'm
cool.
not personally in touch with Tony anymore, but I guess I'm still, after 41 years, I guess I'm still auditioning for Black Sabbath.
Right, no kidding. Uh, Out of curiosity, I mean, it seems like the only band from your past that didn't make it onto this record was Fair Game. So what was with that? Because again, I guess I kind of see it too, because that didn't really break. But at the same time, I think were there some challenges getting the people together from
No,
that?
we talked about it. I talked to the girls, and I really wanted to include that, but for me, it was tough to define what's a fair game song. You
Yeah,
had to have one song that represents, like we did with Steeler and we did
right.
with Keel and Iron Horse. We couldn't find the right song, and it would have to be a song that really encapsulates what fair game was all about, and we just couldn't come up with the right track. So it's not over yet. I'm still writing songs. We may have a fair game single
Oh,
to add to a future bonus edition. Who knows? The doors are always all open and everything's on the table. But I would have loved to include Saber Tiger as well. The
oh yeah,
the
right.
project that I did in Japan in '97. I reached out to Akihito Kinoshita, that guitar hero that I
Hmm.
did that record with, and would have loved to include that as well. Even some of the lesser known bands or lost projects, I I I went for all of them, trying to make this some epic statement about my life and history. But I think we ended up in the right place. On Keelworld, it really showcases my primary projects: Keel, Steeler, Ron Keel Band, Iron
Hmm.
Horse, Ronnie Lee Keel, and my solo career.
So does this leave the door open for maybe Keel World 2? Like, I mean, it seems like you had a blast making this thing. I mean, I know it was probably time consuming and a lot of money and effort went into this, but it seems like, you're this is a good documentation of what you're about.
Now, I think right now we're gonna settle on Keel World 1 and just be happy that we're here.
See, I'm getting
It,
excited, with
yeah,
all
this
those
is
tunes floating in there. I want to
and
hear more, but
we're gonna piss a lot of people off, and not if you're not pissed off, you're confused because a lot of fans don't understand. Well, what is it? What's Ron doing? Is it a Keel
Mhm.
record? Is it a
Yeah,
Ron Keel Band album? Is it country? Is it
yeah,
what? Is it metal? What the hell's he doing?
right.
And no, well, you got one Keel song. Well, where's the new Keel album? One song's not enough, right? So
Yeah,
that's not just the fans, it's just the guys in the band too. Going,
sure.
man, this movie Targets kick ass. We should do a new album. And
Yeah,
Iron Horse, the guys in Iron Horse want to do a new album. And Steeler, my God,
yeah.
I am treating this, Ruben, as if it were my last album, as if it
Uh,
were the last bottle on earth.
mhm.
Now that's not shutting the door on any opportunities in the future. I do have another album at some point before
Mhm.
I'm completely retired, that I'd like to do, and that's a different animal.
Right.
But I don't think you can follow this, man. I think Keel World is a once in a lifetime destination for me and for my fans. So I'm happy where we're at.
Hey, I think I can live with that. Although I would add that this particular album it's almost kind of like a current modern day, present day sampler of what you're about.
That's a great way to encapsulate that. It is a push pin on the roadmap of my life, man, in every place and every landscape that I've explored, every musical style. We've had a lot of dreams come true, and I'm very thankful for that. And to be able to assemble this team, and you're right, there's a lot of people involved, a lot of engineers, producers, studios across the country, all the musicians, artists, contributors that made this thing happen. It really was a labor of love. It took long time, took 3 years to get this thing done, and it was expensive. I am not one of those guys that I don't just work in the home studio here in the basement. I went to Phoenix, Arizona, to a place called Full Recording for the lead vocal sessions, so that I could get out of my comfort zone into a real studio with some real professionals, and just get behind the mic and sing and pour my heart out and sing these songs without having to engineer the session in my basement. So there were a lot of moving parts. And now I'm at the point where I can celebrate it, enjoy it, and promote it, and talk to people like you about it, man. This is one of the first interviews that I've done for the record. So I can't thank you enough for your input and your reaction to some of the tracks, man. That really means a lot to me.
Fantastic. Hey, Ron, I hope to catch you again. I want to pick your brain about some other stuff, Keel related, and probably
absolutely.
I'll reach out and hopefully we can make it happen. But in the meantime, you'll have an album review and you'll have a short interview.
Man, I appreciate this, Ruben. You're always at the top of the list, and I'm glad. Sorry I was late, but if you want to do it again anytime, maybe in November to promote the vinyl release and the comic book and all that stuff.
Perfect.
We could do it again in November.
Sounds good, man. Take care. Hey,
thank you,
looking
man. You
forward to
too.
seeing you again. Take care. Be safe.
Okay, you too.